Oh my goodness, man! That was a nerve wracking game. Fly Eagles fly. We pulled it out. Pulled out a crazy one against Dallas at home. Uh, Man, where do I start? This was not at all our best game, our best performance. We could have done a lot better. But first, I gotta give a shout out to Dallas Cowboys. I'm dead serious when I say this. I know I troll and mess with Dallas a lot, but I left that game actually respecting that team way more than I did going into it. Dallas didn't do a lot of the boneheaded stuff I expected. Now they did get a lot of penalties, especially on key drives. But I feel like they got us back. Basically. But all the calls, number one, were legit. The hold on Byard was definitely legit. That sprung the run. The holds on Bland. Bland grabs a lot, which is something I always noticed. He's a good young corner, but he grabs a lot. Um, you know, I didn't see any calls that weren't legit. I think the biggest call the biggest BS call was the roughing the passer that they got Hassan Reddick with on Dak Prescott. I think that was ridiculous. Sure, he touched him, but I mean, he was kind of pulling up and everything. I thought that was ridiculous. So I think Dallas Cowboys got to be real. They got the calls. They were in position to score. Then the Eagles defense was able to step up, get a couple of key sacks, and then Dak didn't do the best job of time management there at the end. He probably should have spiked the ball on a second down, which would have left more time on the clock. Those things happen. I feel like the Eagles' offense was horrible with clock management as well. They have to really look at the film, look at that, man, and fix those things because these types of things can hurt us. We got away, we got out of here with the win, but if you go down into Dallas, we're going to have to play better there. There's no doubt about it. We can't go into Dallas with the same game we played here. We went up 11 points, in the third quarter, and then this is the stuff I can't stand. We go up 11 points, and then the next drive, when we're up more than one score, we play this soft defense that allows, the other team to drive down the field, and just like clockwork, we did it again, and it's pathetic to me, and it's no excuse for it because you notice our defense in situations where we absolutely have to get a stop. How are you able to step up? However, in situations where like you're up, all of your defense just can't. Your defense just ran through like butter. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's something in the game plan and it's something in their strategy that I'm telling you it's faulty. And you were able to get away with it this week, but I'm telling you, when you play these explosive offenses like the Chiefs, when you play these offenses like the Bills, I don't think you could play like that, man. Or even when you play Dallas again in Dallas, you can't play like that. Dak Prescott, man, earned a lot of respect from me. I honestly predicted Dak would put in a stinker today. Really, I thought it was all set up for that. He's had a great game last week. Coming into Philadelphia all week, our secondary's been hearing about how they burnt toast and all of that. And he came in and he kind of proved it a lot, especially the part of our secondary where James Bradbury is. What's happening with our secondary is we're getting caught in bad matchups far too often. There's far too many situations where you got CeeDee Lamb, with Blankenship having to take that assignment. I'm glad we made an adjustment at some point in the game where we put Darius Slay on CeeDee Lamb because he did pretty well. That's your best shot, really. But those situations where safeties like Blankenship in particular was caught on CeeDee Lamb, where linebackers are like left with no choice but to stick Lamb and Gallup and other guys when they're in the slot, to me is inexcusable. Inexcusable. I think overall we did a fine job against CeeDee Lamb. I mean, it's a combination of trying to get some type of pressure and confuse Dak, shadowing him with safeties and corners. But there's far too many instances where you're giving up easy stuff There's times, man, I'm talking about third downs where we're giving up easy pitch and catches to tight ends. And these things, man, they're unnecessary. They really are. Now, I understand sometimes in a game, you can't always get into substitutions the way you like in the rotation. Maybe you want to go quarters with more corners, and sometimes you're stuck kind of with the linebackers. You got to kind of make do at the time because you don't want to use a timeout. I understand those things happen, but just by and large, we have to find a way to not allow these bad matchups, man, to just persist. To persist. I like the way we played against the run. I'm so glad actually Dallas won last week because my concern was they would pick up Derrick Henry. If they have Derrick Henry today, that may be a different game. As they're not able to like drain the clock and those types of things. And that hurts them. And then it takes it to us. I don't understand why we're not using Rashard Penny, especially when you're talking about, you got 2 minutes left, and really the job now is to drain the clock. We had 2 drives like that where we didn't successfully drain the clock, not running the ball as effective as we have in the past. And I believe it's because, well, number one, there has to be a problem with Opeta and Steen. They must not be as good blockers as Cam Jurgens. So hopefully, we got the bye coming up. Cam should be back, really good. And hopefully that's really the problem with the run game. It's as simple as plugging in Cam Jurgens and hoping that he stays healthy for the rest of the season. But there's something there that's missing in the run game. I'm going to talk about Jalen Hurts, man. Again, this guy, he really never ceases to amaze me, man. He never does. He's locked in, man, for these big games. I appreciate that. This dude was clearly, not 100%. Something with the knee. He took a hit at a certain point in the game with DeMarcus Lawrence, kind of fell on his knee. It's a good thing no ACL, no MCL happened there. He continued to play. He gutted out certain runs when he could. I mean, we could tell he's not the same dynamic runner he is now with this current situation, but he was able to get key yardage here and there. He no interceptions. Locked in, man. Didn't have the 300-yard game. That's fine. There were a couple long throws that didn't happen there. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes you don't get enough possessions to produce that type of yardage. You know what I mean? But he played well. He was efficient. High percentage of his passes he completed. He spread the ball as good as he can. And then the other thing, Dallas Goedert. I hope Dallas Goedert is fine. To me, that play by the Dallas defender, whoever he is, was a dirty play. I get Dallas Goedert face masked him. Face mask is a normal thing, but the guy took his arm and he tucked his arm under his arm and fell on him in a way it looked like a damn MMA move. Hopefully the NFL looks at that and takes the appropriate action. I believe that was an absolute 100% dirty play. From playing football, I know the difference between when you're just making a hard tackle and when you're trying to do a little something extra. And that's what that looked like to me. So hopefully, the NFL, that guy is going to receive some sort of something from that, whether it's a penalty, whether it's a suspension for a game or so, because that was a dirty play, man. Negatives. James Bradbury, man. This is sad because James Bradbury, because corners that's my thing. It's a position I played, when I played football on the little level that I was on. And it's my favorite position to watch. My favorite players are always corners, man. Deion Sanders, Mike Haynes, to me, are the GOATs. All right, I don't really have one over the other. Mike Haynes, Deion Sanders, to me, the greatest corners ever. Not to get off track, but James Bradbury, bro. I loved Bradbury last year. I loved the pickup. I like the fact that we re-signed him, but he may have fallen off a cliff. Unless we can find out if there's something wrong with him medically, he's really, really bad. He's out of position a lot. He's not able to move his hips right. He's not able to start and stop right. So it's like he can't get right. He's not turning his head around on plays. He may have just lost it, man. And it kind of reminds me of what happened to that corner that used to play for the Arizona Cardinals, who Josh damn, I can't remember his name, but he was a good corner with the Panthers. Then he went over to watch Josh Norman. That's who he reminds me of. Like when Josh Norman just all of a sudden lost it. That's kind of like what Bradbury is going through right now. And I think, this defense is this. They're going to have to make a tough decision right here. You got some young guys behind them. You got Roby who's going to come back after the bye, presumably. So that should strengthen, the slot corner. And then you got Eli Ricks, who's balling. He made a few mistakes today. I saw certain times where he didn't know whether to stay with CeeDee Lamb or whether to stay off him or whatever. But, he played okay. I didn't see him giving up touchdowns like Bradbury. But you got to start thinking about him. You got to start thinking about Job. You might even have to start thinking about Keelan Ringo, guys like that, getting some of them snaps from Bradbury, because I understand he's getting paid a lot of money. I understand he's the All-Pro. I understand up here he knows the game. But, you're talking about this is a season where, we have championship aspirations. Do you let a guy like that, hamper you? You know what I mean? Because it's bad enough, he gets the holding call in the Super Bowl, which probably determined the game right there, or at least, it ended the game for sure. Didn't allow our offense to get another shot at the drive. And then here in this game, he's getting penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty. And even that last fourth down play where they credited him a stop, he still does a hands to the face there. And if the officials call that there, who knows, what happens with the outcome of this game. It's like he's killing us, and they're going to have to make a decision. If he doesn't start playing better, man, I might give him one more game to play better. You look at this gauntlet that's coming up. So far, we've done pretty well with the gauntlet, but you got some serious games coming up. Dallas is coming up real soon again, and they'll be expecting to be a little bit more prepared, and they're going to want some get back. So, man. Yeah, shout out, man, Jalen Carter. He played tough. I saw times where he was getting triple-teamed. He played tough. Hassan Reddick was a man. He was a beast. You know what I mean? Man, that's what I can say about us. And Dak Prescott played well, man. That's his last year. I say Dak really played well. Just couldn't get it done just at the last. I think our defense kind of stepped up. Man, that was a tough one, man. So, I ain't gonna hold y'all too long, man. Those are pretty much my thoughts. Let me go ahead and get this dinner ready. Catch y'all. Peace.